All right, Banditos, listen up. It's your weekend heads up video. I've got you covered with everything you need to know to make the most of your weekend gaming in the First Descendant, so you don't have to panic at the last minute. Now, let's get into why this is all way more important than whatever else you're doing this weekend. First, we'll dive into this roadmap and look at the latest updates and spy what's coming so you can stay one step ahead of the grind. I'll give you the lowdown on what's arrived with the weekend-only ETA0 Vendor, and some of these items are going to be straight up, you gotta get them. Then finally, we're talking Reactor Farms, and not just any Reactor Farms, but the ones you'll be kicking yourself for missing when the loot map resets on Monday night. So, let's do this.
Tux makes it exciting!
So here we are, Friday, October 25th, and this is the latest update on the roadmap that I've put together for the First Descendant. As usual, you can download this using the link below. And the latest patch, 1.15, gave us an array of small fixes, but otherwise it's been relatively quiet from the devs. And they kind of gave us a heads up on that because they're working on the PS6 Pro build patch. We don't have an exact date on when they're going to launch that, but that's the deal. More recently, we just got an update that an off-site improvement to infrastructure just happened for the Nexon's website. So your primary account setup can now be linked to multiple accounts, and you can now designate which will be your primary account. This is something that's going to help those who are playing on different platforms. The patch that we are all anticipating right now is the one that's going to land on October 30th. This is hotfix 1.16. With this, we're going to get some special ops upgrades. They're going to make them more intense and then shorter, on average lasting no more than 15 minutes. More importantly, their goal is to make this the #1 weapon XP farm in the game. So that's gonna be hot. Looking forward to that. And we're getting the reactor implant system, and boy, oh boy, am I excited for that because grinding for reactors is a pain. I'm sure you're all experiencing that out there. So we need something there to relieve that and also make them more practical. And there's a rename account feature that's happening on October 30th. Also, this has to do with that Nexon cross-platform account thing as well. Unconfirmed for this update, but we do know they're working on it, is the ultimate weapon revamp. And one of the weapons that I'm really hoping they touch is the Fallen Hope. And I bet they do, because that one is specifically tailored for Freyna, and the Fallen Hope is sick. It just doesn't line up with Freyna's new kit right now. So hopefully they fix that. Hopefully that's part of the upgrade, and there's a lot of other ultimates that are definitely undervalued right now by the community. October 30th is going to be important. This patch is huge because that's going to be the patch that carries us into Season 2.0. Now, the devs have been holding really good to their promise of delivering weekly patches. And when they're not delivering a weekly patch, they've been giving us a heads up on why, and they tend to be really good reasons. Do expect more patches after October 30th, leading us into Season 2, but the 1.16 hotfix on October 30th needs to hit hard. From there, the updates that we need are going to be the outposts. I think the outposts need to continue to evolve. They're falling flat with the community. They were fun for a minute. Now they're just more of a drag. There's not much of a fight, even though you're only standing around for a minute to wait for the next round. The encounter is only 10-15 seconds, if even. It's still more standing than it is fighting, and we're here for the fight. And since we have to encounter these for the rewards, for patterns to unlock things, they need to spice this up. Early on, they did mention that they were looking to revamp the outpost. This was around the time when the Volby run was a point of contention. They were talking about making the bigger outposts a replayable fighting loop, sort of infinite horde concept. They would also make more rewards dropping because of that. We don't have any idea on when this would be launched, but I think it would be important to squeeze it in before Season 2. The other thing that needs to be updated again are the invasions. I think they're falling flat. They really hit a home run with the 400% infiltrations. I'm having a blast with those. But those invasions, I'm finding myself not visiting them. But if they leave it as it is, once people get to a comfortable place with their gold, which is something that happens because that's where I am, then they just start getting ignored. And then we have a big chunk of content that nobody's playing. Okay, listen up, you need to know this. So Freyna's encrypted vault, the shop, the earnings end in just a few days. On October 30th is the last day you can accumulate points for Freyna's encrypted vault shop. The good news is that you'll have a few extra days to buy things. The last day you can spend your points will be on November 4th. But the question is, then what? So this is what I want to know, and I'm sure the devs have an answer out there, but why end the shop on October 30th? What's the point of that? What's happening in November to replace that? Why can't we have Freyna's encrypted vault run all the way through to season 2? Yeah, so it just seems like an arbitrary date to end the vault. I don't get it. Is this a time gate all to enhance FOMO? I don't think that's needed for points. Do you? I mean, points are points, and there's some really good buys there. Speaking of which, let's get into where I recommend you spend your remaining points if you have any. If you haven't purchased your crystallization catalyst, I think that's priority 1. There's a cap there. You can only buy 3. Each one costs 40 points, so that's 120 total points that you can spend in your catalysts. Other than that, the other 2 places I recommend you spend all your points are going to be in the Descendant Experience Boost category. You can buy up to 30. These cost 5 points each. And then the Weapon Proficiency Boost category. Now, if you're further along in the game and you have all your Descendants and you have a lot of builds, then go for the Weapon Proficiency Boost. Load up there, because Descendants aren't that hard to level up, and weapons are a little bit harder, but they're going to be easier with the special ops update on October 30th, so we're not too worried about that. But more importantly is that they're working on revamping all of the ultimate weapons, so there's a lot of work ahead of us when it comes to weapons. Some of these might be quite good, and you're going to want to be spending a lot of time leveling those. That also is going to put pressure on your catalysts. Always craft catalysts. That's the tip I have for you with this game. Next, let's look at the ETA-0 Vendor. So the Exchange Infiltration Operations rewards, these are the standard ETA vouchers you get by completing those 400 infiltrations. So heads up, I don't have recommended buys for you. My advice is to buy everything. If you're playing anywhere near regularly in this game, then you're going to earn way more ETA vouchers than you have the ability to hold in your inventory. So the cap is 600 and you have a whole week to earn these. So what I recommend is buying everything, even if you don't need a blueprint, and then turn around and sell that blueprint at a later time back to this vendor at a deep discount. Yes, it's at a loss, but what else are you gonna do with those ETA vouchers? So you don't have to be too choosy here, but let's look at what we have. Precision code breakers, always nice. That's gonna go for your catalyst blueprints, I'm sure. That's where you're spending them. Same with the code breakers here. 10 of those, 6 of those. And then we got shape stabilizers, 3 sets. And then here is the secret garden blueprint, really important. That's huge. That's like one of the best weapons in the game. The catalyst blueprint, handy. Need that for sure. Fallen Hope, and then Perforator. We have a Kyle Spiral Catalyst. If you haven't gotten him, there you go. There's one of your pieces. You have the Blue Beetle, and then a Sharon Stabilizer. Then we have some cosmetics. We have green here. We have Cement Gray and White, and Midnight Purple. So I'll be buying all of those. Let's take a look at the exchange supplies. So you get these by selling your blueprints. So all the blueprints that you don't need, you're going to get a premium ETA voucher, and you can only hold 600. And you eventually get to a place where you have more blueprints than you can sell to the vendor on a weekly basis. So storage slots, I always need those. Equipment slots, I need those. Ultra Precision, we get 3 of those. Those are great. Let's get that Enzo mod, please. Shape stabilizers. We have a Wave of Light blueprint, an Afterglow sword polymer, which is amazing. I love that weapon. Enduring Legacy, also a great weapon. Luna, Divine Punishment, and then we got paint. So we got matte orange, pistachio, and pale gold. Finally, wine pink. Okay, now we're looking at the best reactor farms for the week. And these are the ones that you just have to get to before the map resets. So I'm not going to cover the full deal here, but this guide I put out every week, and I have a link down below so you can download this if you want to look at the other farms for the week. The ones you're not going to want to miss are the Eugen farms. Let's start there. The Fortress, the Frozen Valley, you can farm the Command Relay, which is a really good and easy farm. It's always busy, and that's going to give you the reactor non-attribute with fusion and general rounds. And that's perfect for Eugen, especially if you're going into the Death Stalker with him, because you're going to be able to pair it up with the Enduring Legacy. And that's a really good gun for that fight. It's a really good gun in general, and it pairs up with Eugen nicely. The devs did a revamp. I covered this in my last grind guide video. They gave us the ability to farm reactors regardless of the rotation on the map. So the bonus here is that in Frozen Valley, Freyna's toxic tech is also landing in this zone. So when you're farming for Eugen, you're also going to be getting Freyna toxic tech reactors. 2 for 1, baby. Also in the fortress, in the defense line, I recommend you farm what was called the Volby Run, the outpost, and that's going to give you a non-attribute with tech and special rounds. This is perfect for Kyle or Ajax, and the mount is going to be Secret Garden, which powers up your tech skills. So the stats I recommend are non-attribute and tech, and of course cooldown, but do whatever you need to do for your builds. And then the bonus here, so the reactor that's also assigned to this zone is Eugen's non-attribute fusion. Okay, but lightning has struck twice in Echo Swamp. In the abandoned zone, I recommend farming the environment contamination. This is a really good farm. You get lots of gold, lots of code breakers, lots of Kuiper, and a decent amount of gear drops. But what's really important is that it clears really fast. You can do it in like 30 seconds. But here's the deal. Kyle and Ajax again, and you can pair it up with the Peacemaker because of the impact round. So it's going to be non-attribute tech and impact rounds. Now the Peacemaker picks up on activations of dimension and fusion skills. Bonus is that Kyle and Ajax non-attribute tech is also assigned to the abandoned zone. So you got a double reactor assignment in the abandoned zone. On top of that, the environment contamination is a very efficient farm. So that's why I say lightning has struck twice. All right, that's what I have for you. Get out there, get some. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
One and only.
And this was another episode of The First Descendant. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The First Descendant. And if you like videos like this, check out the one I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy or download anything for the First Descendant, be sure to use Tux's creator code to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Follow me.